Hi, I'm Amara. Today I want to talk about risky intimacy. In a world that promotes self-centeredness and self-focus, self-love has become quite the buzzword. While yes, you have to use your mask so that you can save that person sitting next to you, and yes, we've got to prioritize our own well-being and happiness before we're of much use to anyone. But there's a fine line between healthy self-love and narcissism. It's easy to get caught up in our own reflection, forgetting that true fulfillment lies in connecting with others. I recently met a man who couldn't remember the last time he'd been intimate, but who desperately wanted to meet someone before he left the planet. And while he insisted that his solo life was fine, it became ever more clear just how much he missed sharing, conversations, touch, company, and love. And yet, he kept trying to convince me and himself that the risks of being open and vulnerable, well, they weren't worth it. And he was arguing to stick with his self-love, but the thing is, you can have both, and you have to. So let's talk about the flip side, the risky intimacy of loving another. Opening ourselves up to someone means exposing our frailties, our vulnerabilities, our imperfections. And it's like walking on a tightrope without a safety net. But here's the catch. It's in these moments of vulnerability that we experience the most magical moments of life. And yes, you could stumble, and we do. And yes, you risk being seen, but trust me, not being seen is worse. Now, I'm not saying that being single doesn't have its upsides. And if you love it, it's great. But if you do want closeness, or you want a closer marriage, but something keeps you avoiding all of these intimate moments, then trusting someone, even if you've been hurt, is worth it. It's like when you ask a stranger to watch your stuff, when you got to go get something and you leave for a minute and they stay and watch your stuff and you come back and, oh, it's still there, because it just feels so good to really trust someone and to be trusted. And that good feeling is amplified 1,000-fold when we trust someone in an intimate relationship. In fact, it feels so good, even if some people in your life haven't been trustworthy, haven't been trustable, and you haven't been trustworthy either. Even if this has happened, it still is worth recovering. If you've got it, great. And if you don't have it, if you don't have that intimacy, it's worth everything. It's worth everything because no matter how unknown, how risky it is, trust me, the exhilarating rush, the exhilarating experience of trusting, of being intimate with another, it's worth the risk. I'm Amara Charles. Thanks for dropping by.